Right, I have had a lot of messages actually in my DMs. I don't know, I'm acting like I'm this popular influencer who gets loads of DMs. That's not the case. However, I have had a few people message me and ask me to do a video on how I transform my body. Why do I keep clapping? 1 second. We have a wild Marley coming to join us. Hello, darling boy. Is anyone else's fox red like so needy? Like, what's going on? Right, we need to do a video, so why don't you sit down? Sit down. There we go. Yep. When there's the full sofa, we're going to sit right here. So let's go back to the start. So I started going to the gym when I was 16 years old. I'm now 25, so that's 9 years of gym experience to go through. So I was so consistent in the gym. Like, going to the gym was like my passion since I started going. I think, to be honest, a lot of that came down to my own insecurities, and I knew that going to the gym, like, I could control exactly what I get out of it, if that makes sense, because I had a lot of acne. Like, I just was never that confident, and I knew that, like, going to the gym, like, I could change that, if that makes sense. It's very deep, like, we're going very deep right now. And I remember between like 16 and 20, I was obsessed with Tammy Hembrow. And Tammy Hembrow, because she had like this unbelievable body, I always wanted to look like Tammy Hembrow. And Tammy Hembrow had this app, like this fitness app, that I followed literally every single workout, paid for the app monthly, and followed all of the workouts that she did. And I did that literally for about 4 years. And I remember when I turned 20, I decided to get a PT, like an in-person PT. I wasn't a PT or anything like qualified or anything like that at the time. The gym that I went to had this coach, and I actually genuinely do think he was the best PT ever. Like, he was so good, and he was so strict, and I feel like so much of how I am right now as a coach is down to him. And he was genuinely the nicest man ever, and he really pushed me. And I do say, like, he inspired me a lot to do what I am doing today. My camera just weirdly just completely turned off. I have no idea why. I've got battery on it, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. So I was in a right flow of everything then. So yes, we had a PT, absolutely loved it, 3 times a week, literally made me graft. And then COVID hit. Stopped having the PT, of course, and I actually moved to, I met my boyfriend, moved in with my boyfriend within a month to his family home, and lucky for me, that's another story for another day, however, lucky for me, in the family home, they had like a little indoor-outdoor gym that my boyfriend literally just made, and in there, like, that is where my true passion for coaching and for the gym really developed. And I started recording my workouts, I started my fitness page, and that is when I decided to do a PT course. So anyways, that is literally nothing to do with the video, however, I just wanted you to know that. So then we obviously, COVID lifted, we could go back to the gym, which was absolutely fab for me, and that is where I really started to graft. Like, of course, as I mentioned before, going to the gym was my passion. Like, it was since I was 16 years old. It was just a case of like, right, I know how to strength train. What do I do now to transform my body? I always had a goal in my mind as to what I wanted to look like. And I was so consistent with strength training. I was trying loads of different things with like HIIT workouts and sprints, and literally every single workout trend you can think of, I was doing it because I wanted to get the best results. And for so long I thought the more that I did in the gym, the more I'm going to get out of it. And I didn't ever look in any other direction as to what would transform my body. I always just had stuck in my head, graft in the gym, graft in the gym, graft in the gym, and you're gonna get out of it what you're putting into it. And to a sense, you know, that is true. However, the reason why I wasn't seeing changes, like I'll incorporate a picture of literally me at 24 years old, so far into my fitness journey, so consistent with workouts. It was genuinely down to my diet and what I was doing outside of the gym. So with my transformation, I transformed my body completely, I would say in 2025, we're in 2026, completely transform my body in 2025. So I'm going to go through absolutely everything that I did in 2025 to transform my body. So firstly, we sacked off the random workouts. I was constantly trying different things. I was constantly trying different workout techniques, different workouts, doing high reps, low weight, doing loads of weight, low reps. Like, I tried absolutely everything so that I could achieve what I wanted to achieve. Constant, like, random high rocks workouts, random HIIT workouts, and I kept doing that. And then in January I thought to myself, you know what, right, let's just stick to one thing. Let's just stick to one thing and just find myself the perfect workout split that's focused just on strength training. And you know, for so long I was of course strength training, but I was always so scared to push myself in case I got bulky. And so many people and so many of my clients come to me with that scarcity of getting bulky, because we think, oh well, you know, strength training, that'll build us loads of muscle and then we're just going to look really bulky. That is genuinely really not the case if you are doing things right. And that is what held me back for so long. It's, oh my god, I just realised that's so annoying. That held me back for so long, genuinely. And then I thought to myself, let's just focus on strength training, doing a 5-day workout split and just focusing on progressive overload. Let's just keep it simple. And that worked an absolute dream. I took out all of the high rocks, I took out all of the random hits. I just stuck to one thing, and that was genuinely the deciding factor. I really focused on, you know, what I wanted to achieve within my body, and that determined my split. So for example, what I was doing is two lower body sessions, glute focused, one upper body session, three glute sessions, three glute sessions, one full upper body session, which was very much focused on back. Trained absolutely no shoulders, not one bit of shoulders, which is so funny because now I have 2 push days in my workouts. And then I did a full body workout. I basically just made all of my workouts very much compound lift. So compound lifts are the lifts that build the most muscle, and they are the lifts that engage the most muscles. For example, your core. So like a compound lift, like a squat, engages so many muscles in your lower body, but it also engages your core, which is another thing that I really wanted. I just wanted abs. So I thought to myself, right, compound lift, that's what we've got to focus on. And thank God I did, because that split worked an absolute treat for me. And still now, you know, I have an ebook on literally that exact split that created my dream body. So outside of that, what else did we do? Was low intensity steady state cardio. For far too long I was focused on HIIT workouts, I was focused on high rocks workouts, I was focused on calorie burn. Like, calorie burn was at the forefront of my mind, because I thought, calories, I need to burn as many calories as I can so that I can achieve what I want to achieve. But I wasn't really focusing, that like the cardio that I was doing, I wasn't really focusing on the right things. My big goal was to lose fat and build muscle. My big goal was to see visible abs while still like having like an athletic physique. And the absolute key to that was low intensity steady state cardio. And what I did end up focusing on was treadmill, incline walk, Stairmaster, and keeping my heart rate at a certain level to help my body burn fat and help my body burn calories, but in the right way. So when you are doing low intensity steady state, it very much encourages your body to use fat as fuel. Whereas when you're doing high rocks, HIIT, loads of high intensity workouts, your body's more focused on carb burn and high calorie burn. So the two things here, focus on one set of strength training with progressive overload and low intensity steady state cardio. The perfect equation to losing fat and building muscle. So did that for a while, and then, like, you know, my body was changing in the right ways. However, the biggest thing was my diet. My inconsistent diet that I stuck to Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I went off the rails, ate exactly what I wanted to eat, drank a stupid amount of alcohol because it was the weekend, and everything went out the window on a weekend. Literally all my standards, all my high expectations for myself went straight out the window as soon as it hit Friday. And that was the reason why I wasn't seeing results for absolute years. And if that is you, I am telling you now, the day that you start really prioritizing 80-20 is the day your body will change for sure. That is what I started incorporating, 80-20, which means 6 days of the week, absolute perfect tracking, and 1 meal off plan a week. And that worked an absolute treat for me. Like, that genuinely did transform my body, because when you are consistent Monday to Thursday, that is literally like 57% of your week. You can't expect 100% results from 57% of effort. And that is where, as I say, you know, when I really sacked that off and really stuck to 80-20 rather than basically 50-40, which is 60-40, which is what I was doing before, it didn't work. Whereas the 80-20 really, really worked, because it made me put my graft in, but it also allowed me a treat. So if you are somebody that's so consistent in the gym, but you aren't seeing results, it genuinely does come down to your diet. About 70 to 80% of what you achieve at the end of any plan, at the end of, you know, your fitness journey, is down to what you are putting into your body. What you are literally what you eat. It is very much true. So we stuck to 80-20. What did I do 80% of the time? Stuck to mainly whole food. We took out all of the processed stuff, all the protein labelled stuff, all the protein bars, all the protein shakes, all the protein yogurts and everything else like that I thought was doing me so much. We really just stuck to basics. It is so much easier for your body to digest food that is simple, causes less bloating, and to be honest with you, when you are focusing more on whole food, you can actually eat a lot more meals even in a calorie deficit. Your body thanks you for giving it just natural food that's so good for you, just simple ingredients. And again, that changed my physique so much. So outside of all of that, also just another one on the diet as well, I remember sticking to just simple meals. For far too long, me and Alfie were constantly, oh, what's for dinner tonight? Oh, what should we make for lunch today? What should we have for dinner tonight? It was just constant, like, different meals on repeat. And there was no consistency with that. We were constantly thinking, how many sauces can we add into this meal? How many different ingredients can we stack into this pasta? Whereas when we took all of that away and just genuinely stuck to just carbs, fats and protein, just simple carbs, fats and protein, and we actually tracked everything that we were eating, you know, 80-20, but both of our bodies completely changed. So the second lesson that I learned was genuinely simple meals, tracking 80% of your week, and just making sure that you are fueling your body with the right food. You know, natural food is the best food for us, and I stand by that. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've literally got a monster in the fridge waiting for me, and yes, that is processed as hell. However, 80% of the time, 90% of the time, even on prep right now, it is just simple meals, just as they come. Just what nature gave us. And lastly, the biggest driving factor, as well as the other two that I've just mentioned, was my habits outside of, you know, the diet and the workouts and everything like that. And this honestly, this point is so simple, but it makes such an impact. Daily steps. When I stopped calculating my daily steps as my cardio, so for example, if my goal is 10,000 steps and I did 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, so that took me to 5,000 steps. When I actually took that away from that and kept it as two completely separate goals, so 30 minutes on the Stairmaster and a 10,000 step goal, my body, again, it changed. It's low intensity, steady state. It doesn't fatigue you. Like, it's just like more of a simple calorie burn for your body. It's daily habits like that that genuinely did make such an impact. It's like the perfect equation together: your exercise, your diet and your habits. So daily step goal every single day, again, not just Monday to Thursday, but every single day. I stuck to around 12 to 14,000 steps outside of any form of cardio, literally just through walking outside. And it genuinely, as I say, it helped so much. Another one is sleep, making sure that I was really, not just like going output, output, output. You know, I was getting up at like 3 o'clock in the morning some days, going to bed at 10 o'clock at night. That literally was not helping me. When I prioritised, you know, my well-being and my recovery, my body thanked me so, so much. Alongside that, a certain amount of water every day. I can look at the flipping size of this thing. 2 litres, like, it's freaking massive. And this helped so, so much when it came to bloating, when it came to my body holding on to extra water. We need water. Like, when I actually drank enough water, although it's such a simple point, my body was thanking me. I was doing all of the right things for my body. So daily steps, recovery, water, getting a certain amount of sleep in every single night. You really don't think it matters, but it really, really does. And that is genuinely how I transform my body, just consistency. I could have saved myself genuinely years of making all of these mistakes, but I do believe that I made all of these mistakes and had to go through all of these things so that I can become the coach I am today. Because my clients are going to struggle with things like this, you know, especially when you're doing like online coaching, like lifestyle online coaching rather than like prep and bodybuilding and things like that. It's just, you know, people with normal situations. And I do genuinely believe like the 3 key factors to you achieving your dream body, it really comes down to a simple strength training workout routine, a simple diet and tracking your calories and macros 80% of the week, and just daily habits that you do on repeat every single day that are going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. And it is just about being consistent, because it's far too easy to just give up when you're not seeing results within a month, unfortunately. And I stand by this, and I say this to all of my clients: if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would be walking around with a 6-pack. You can genuinely make such big changes just by incorporating all of these things. But my biggest advice is just get a plan that has structure. Get a plan that has structure and keeps it simple for you. Like, I decided to get myself a coach because I got to a point in my physique where I was so, so happy. I got to my dream body in December. And then I wanted to take that to the next level. And I am so, so glad that I kind of put that into somebody else's hands so that I can just look after myself. I didn't have to double think what I was doing. And I could just put my all into the things that mattered for me. So that is all you need to do. That is literally all you need to do. It's planned out. Let's just do it. If you genuinely have any other like requests for videos, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do videos like this from the 9 years of gym experience that I have. So I hope everybody has a lovely weekend, and thank you for watching.